We're live. Welcome to the Money GPS Live. Thank you all for coming in today. Let's get this show on the road. All right, Instagram. There we go. All right, we're live. So obviously today the topic is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going crazy. The expectation here is that there's going to be an ETF in the US. That'll be the first one. But nobody really knows, of course, what's going to happen. Right now, I'm looking at the technicals, and it is certainly going way out of line here. But that's because of the way it works, right? It's always kind of acting a little crazy, if you will, either out to the upside or the downside. So I can show you my screen in a moment. We'll wait for a few people to get in here. What did Michael Burry do now? He posted a lot on his Twitter, I could tell you that. Check out the head and shoulders on the 15-minute. All right. The tanker. Maybe the tanker for tomorrow's video. The likes. What's happening here, guys? We got 86 people in the house. 20 likes. I think the like button must be broken. Is that what it is? Is your like button broken? It's right about there somewhere. Must be broken. Let's see what we can do. 26 likes. Let's get it going. 32, let's do it. 37, come on. Do it for Janet. Do it for Janet. Do it for Janet. 39, 43, come on. Closest Tesla short. Yeah, I did read about that. It wasn't a big one. And that's the thing. Like he said, he closes Tesla short. He may buy it again tomorrow, right? He may buy more puts tomorrow. You don't know, right? So you can't look at what he's doing or what any of these other people are doing because you're reading this from the 13F. And then you get that information and then, you don't know what happens after. Now, he confirmed that to CNBC right now, but we never know what happens in between. Hello. Damn, sold off my Bitcoin today, so yeah, it will go up, which is part of the course. Give me a reason to like it. I don't know. Any word on that ship that got decommissioned while underway? Is this the ship that I was on? It's it'll come back tomorrow. Hit that like, yes. All right. We're going to look at the technicals right in a minute here. I just want to take a look with you guys. Obviously, Bitcoin 24/7. So, you come back in 12 hours, things are a lot different. It works very different than the stock markets that have their own hours of operation. Yeah, you have after hours, but it's generally, the time is focused around those main operating hours. Got their YouTube alert. Okay, that's a good thing. I've actually been hearing from people that they're now seeing my videos pop up higher in their recommendations. Can you confirm that? Can everybody confirm, maybe if you were getting them or weren't getting them, but just let me know, are you seeing more of my videos being recommended in your home feed, suggested videos, all that stuff? Is there any difference between, let's say before 2 weeks ago? So before 2 weeks ago or like September, August timeframe, the views were very bad. And now in the last couple weeks or so, it's been much better. Are you seeing more GPS recommendations? Let me know. Yes. Seeing them more often, see more now. Yes. Interesting. Recommend it a lot more. See, how funny is that, right? Give it a thumbs up. Thank you. How weird is that? When you got, I've been doing the same type of videos for a period, the same type. I really haven't changed that much. I mean, I've been putting more attention to the video itself, but I mean, why? Like, why? Why is this happening? I can't. The algorithm's a funny one. I'll tell you. See them more often. Same. Recommendations also shown. Always shown. Okay, good. Are they removing the censorship? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. I really don't. So I'm not fully shadow banned, but what I have is lower authority. And basically what lower authority means is I'm less likely to be recommended. So if there's something from, I don't know, one of those YouTubers that has millions of subscribers, they're going to show them over me. Not even millions of subscribers, but let's just call them the plain, plain, whatever, I don't know. Less controversial. I don't know. I don't even know the word, but those other guys would generally get the recommendation before me. But in the last couple of weeks, I've seen many comments saying, hey, I've been noticing your videos are popping up for me when they wouldn't before. I would normally have to go to your channel just to see that video. So it's different. It's a good thing. I'm definitely not complaining about that. Bitcoin Cash. Where was that comment about oil? There it is. There it is. Yeah, oil. We've been talking about this for a long time. Anybody who's been paying attention, if they want to take advantage of it. In fact, I talked about in my first book. I said, if you're seeing like higher gasoline prices or basically higher oil prices, you can offset that increase by investing in oil. So I made that known back then, which is almost, believe it or not, actually when I wrote the book in 2011. So actually it is 10 years ago, but it published in January of 2012. So it was literally 10 years ago, and I wrote that, and the same patterns are here today. Dan, what's going on? We're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Would I move to China? I don't know if that's is this a real question? I would say no. Gold is the secret weapon. So what I think about gold is that largely the investment community has moved away from it for the most part. At the same time, you're seeing the central banks buying them up. Poland recently doing so. India constantly doing so. Russia, other countries, they're buying it up. But we don't see the appreciation until later. Why is that? Because, as I say all the time, when all else fails, then they'll turn to gold. That's the difference. By the way, am I laggy? Am I choppy or something? Let me know what's going on. I feel like it's a little slow or something. Kinross Gold, yeah. Evergrande, the last one I covered in one of my videos, basically said that, oh no, I have that today. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the video tomorrow. I've got some news. China officially replied about that. Bahamas reporting it in. Welcome. Good stuff. All good? All good? Okay, good. Good stuff, guys. Thank you. All right. Where did I have this here? Bitcoin is a scam. So about the laundering money and stuff, Janet Yellen loves to talk about this. And as much as I love Janet Yellen, this is actually not true. It's actually the worst thing to use for money laundering and committing any sort of drug dealing, all this stuff. It's actually literally the worst thing, because it has to just imagine this. You're doing a deal with somebody and you say, okay, you're going to give me the equivalent of $1 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay, great. Now the time that the transaction takes place, or the agreement takes place, and finally that guy converts it into fiat, let's say, I don't know, just make up a number, 3 days. In 3 days, Bitcoin could rise or fall by 20%. So that, you've seen that many times before. It is not stable at all. At the same time, if you're moving it into fiat, you got a bank that's there, that there's all of the regulations and so on around that. How can they move it in without being seen? It doesn't work like that. Cash is the ultimate, and that's why they're trying to shut down cash and go to digital. This is why they're doing that. I want Bitcoin at 12,000. Yeah, I agree. Everyone who really loves Bitcoin should want to see it go down. Everyone who loves stocks should want to see them go down hard. Because what happens is when everything settles, when the dust settles, the strong survive and grow. And you can be there to basically pick up the pieces, pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar, right? BTC to 100K. Many have said it's happening. I hope Bitcoin triples. I don't know about that. So Evergrande, we haven't seen anything yet. Like, the problems of Evergrande haven't been felt yet. Just a little pin drop. We just heard that. Okay. But the problems haven't come up. Bitcoin will almost certainly hit 100K by the end of the year. That's pretty bold. Central banks will make their own cryptocurrencies. They're all working on it. 100%. Evergrande could be a butterfly effect. Too early to tell. Yeah, like, so they had these problems. We get that little bit of information, but obviously there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we're not allowed to know about. Dan is saying fruit should be a currency. Fruit? No, because I want to eat it. The problem with fruit being a currency is it rots too fast. You got to use that's why they would use grains and even things like livestock traditionally. Is Bitcoin stable? We measure it in cash. Maybe cash isn't stable. LOL. Evergrande. Yeah. Evergrande issues will not truly come out until the Chinese New Year, when they shut down. It's possible. Right now, we're just seeing a taste. We have just seen a taste of it. Fiat 2-door or 4-door. SHIB? Oh my goodness. All right. Kathy Wood in the house, by the way. No, Evergrande is under control. China has the best government. Okay. All right then. China has the best government. Best Government. Okay. Would the new Bitcoin ETF possibly cause problems for Bitcoin? Well, they already have Bitcoin ETFs. Okay, this is not the first one, it's the first one in the US. It didn't really do much. What happened initially, so when there was the bull run up to 20,000 for Bitcoin, the first time that happened, now I keep forgetting, the CME, I think it was, they created it specifically stating, we created the futures contracts for Bitcoin to pop the bubble. They admitted that. It came out and nobody said anything about it. Okay. Because they can. Dan is saying that they throw perfectly good avocados away in tropical countries and I have to pay like $2 each year in Canada. Yeah, for the small ones. We got people in the house right now from Bahamas. You could send me some avocados. I would love that. The Bitcoin price will be Sunday night. Well, if you're watching on, let's see. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you. We're looking at Bitcoin right now. Hope you could see that. And for everybody on Instagram, just hang on. I'm going to talk about it so you'll hear me. But what we saw here, this is what we're looking at on the left is the weekly, the daily. This is the 4-hour. And then this is the 148. Okay, so the timing, just at different times, but it's all Bitcoin. And essentially, the price on all of them is right to the top of this Bollinger Bands, okay? Right to the very top. What does that mean? It means it's getting real hot. You look at this at the very top, that's the stochastic RSI. And that just tells us we are in overbought territory on many different levels. At the bottom, I have the RSI. On all of these, we are showing overbought. Now, there's a lot of euphoria, there's all this. Doesn't mean it's going to come crashing down at all. But it just says, for the moment, things are real hot. And so it could go kind of a little bit sideways, chop a little bit, and for a couple of days, and then continue to go up. It may go up even further. We've seen certain ones that just accelerate way out of the Bollinger Bands, but it tends to fall back down to earth after that. We don't want that. We want slow and steady increase. Okay, we don't want the huge swings if possible. So that's what we're looking at on here. That's all. But regardless, right now, I think there had been this huge surge. That's great. People are enthused about Bitcoin. Where we're going in the future, I'm not sure, but everything, all of the data points to very overbought for the short term. Okay, for the short term. Even on the weekly right here. At this level, around the 60,000 range, this is a resistance point. If it breaks beyond that, of course, hey, sky's the limit. But this is a big resistance point. So there's a lot of different factors adding up to say that it might be some struggle here. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you up to date, of course, of any new developments. Okay? That's that. Dan says he's concerned with gas and food prices. Yeah, absolutely, because the price continues to rise. The wages don't rise corresponding to that. And people are, something that would normally just be, yeah, it's just gas, it's just food, whatever, just a couple bucks here and there. Now it's becoming so significant. I read, Dan, my subscribers will know this, in yesterday's video, this is US statistics, but it said, if we get a really cold winter and you're using your natural gas, expect the prices to increase by 50%. 50% increase. If it's not so bad, I think they said 22%. And it's the same thing here. It's the same thing look at Europe. My goodness, the prices of energy in Europe is just going off the charts. Not just in the Netherlands and Holland. It's not just in one or two countries. It's basically everywhere. That's crazy. Was the Bitcoin ETF officially announced? Because I thought they said that it wasn't shut down. Basically, I thought that's where we were. I mean, I expect it to happen anyway. It's not the first one. Canada already has Bitcoin ETFs. GPS, when do you think there will be a Volcker moment? I think inflation has to get out of control first. The Federal Reserve never acts like preemptively. They're never proactive. They're always reactive on every level. And so inflation will have to be off the charts, and then they will increase interest rates. And I'm not even talking about 20% here. I think to have the same effect that they experienced 1980 by bringing interest rates to 20%, I really believe something between like 5 and 8% is the equivalent today. I see all the time the argument that, oh, well, this isn't, you're not going to see 20%. That's just not going to happen. If inflation gets too hot, there is only one solution, and that is increasing interest rates. You can't. You have so much chaos. The chaos would be unimaginable if inflation gets out of hand and goes too far, because you can't stop it. Look at all of the developing nations that are dealing with it today or that have dealt with it in the past. Has it ever worked successfully that inflation rates get higher, and then suddenly, after a few years or a few months or whatever, they're just real calm and cool, real low? No. Once inflation gets too hot, it never stops. Now today, certainly we've got issues, strange things going on, the supply chain, the truck driver shortage or whatever, all these different things. And that's adding to it. But that's like underlying all of this, you got trillions and trillions of dollars being pumped in through the stimulus and trillions from the QE. Dan says, I'm also concerned with wages. They give everyone a 1% raise each year because times are hard. It's been like that for 5 years now. It's so true. It is so true. Sorry, everybody. It was a tough time, And in 2020, they were telling everybody, oh, you like your job? Oh, okay, great. Good stuff. You can keep your job, but you can keep it at a 20% salary cut. You want a job? Everybody's getting fired. Oh, sure, I'll take the job. So, some positions, though, they're more sought after and so on. But for a lot of people, they got their salaries cut. So never keeps up. Never keeps up. Earnings for the companies are killing it, but they always adjust the basket of the goods for the CPI, of course. Yeah, they don't want the real numbers. You're welcome. Predictable 4-year cycle on its final leg up. After that, about a year to an 80% correction to the downside. Things get really hot short term here, in my opinion. Yeah, it's like people want everything to go straight up. That's never a good thing. You want it to be nice and slow and steady. It's easier to keep levels if it's like that. It's really much like really an easier thing, right? On the same note, if it were to go down, there's ways to make money on the way up. There's ways to make money on the way down. But real hardcore supporters of Bitcoin, they don't sell. It is the investment companies that are generally working to make money off of it on a daily basis, trading in and out of it and so on. Rate increase is a cascade failure of everything that is possible, certainly. But it would be better for them to start increasing interest rates at a very slow pace. They don't even have to do a quarter of a point. Why not do it by 0.1? Just to kind of signal to the market. It doesn't change much, but it just signals to the market, hey, we're starting to do this now. So it's super slow. Like if they just did it every month, 0.1. Every month, 0.1. So you could say, okay, well, it's good. It's going to take so long to actually get to a meaningful level. No worries. But they can't do it. Kathy Wood is not worried about inflation, guys. Kathy Wood. Here we go, 232 and only 160 likes. What's going on, everybody? Come on. Come on. Let's do it. You can do it. Hit that like. Refueling time. Come on. Hit that like button. Here we go. All right, all right, all right. Thank you for the support. Being a follower since 2017, keep doing what you're doing. You are educating people on money at a time when the world needs it more than ever. I do appreciate that very much. Yeah, you could see how the struggle today for so many people. And what do they want? Most people, the quick fix. They just want the quick fix. They don't want resolution. They don't want the knowledge. Like, don't you want the knowledge to then carry on and hopefully you can give that to others, your children, and so on? We don't want, like, we never got the education in school. The school system, quite frankly, I've got a word for it. I don't want to offend anybody. The school system probably could do a little bit better, okay? Not the teacher's fault, probably. It's the curriculum. It's the whole system. And it's just brutal, okay? I can go on all day. But we need to learn this stuff. We really do. Kevin, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. Thank you. Dan saying, trillions in debt, nobody talks about it. That's absolutely true. Because why? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the debt. It's manageable. The debt's manageable. No worries. I love how they say that. It's like what? How many trillion have they just pumped in just in the last like year and a half? I mean, it's just insane. Nobody talks about it. Did I filter that water yourself? Big Berkey water filter. Gatorade is better. Oh my goodness. I think I had, probably had that twice in my life. Gatorade. It's stupid to time the market with Bitcoin is better to DCA. I think people, first of all, whatever it is, if it's Bitcoin, if it's something else, they have to acknowledge, why am I holding this particular investment? If it's real estate, am I doing so because I want to have a place to live one day and I'm having somebody pay off that mortgage? Is it because I want the cash flow? Is this because of the tax purposes? Is it because I love the fact that it's real, it's tangible, I can touch it? Like, why are you holding this? Is it maximum appreciation? You have to ask that question first, and then you determine your investment strategy. Most people, they just start off with the basics. Okay, what am I going to do? Okay, I want to make some money. How do I do it? I'm just going to go to YouTube channels and look for what tickers. There are like many big YouTube channels, finance channels that the guys just basically read off tickers and tell you buy the dip in every single video, and they have millions of subscribers. It is the most unusual thing I have ever seen. I try to watch it. I've tried to watch a couple of them. There's ones that are just the face is just, I can't watch it. Just seeing the face just upsets me. But I try to watch just to learn, like, what are they doing? What are they doing that I'm not doing? Because I've been on here 10 years. So what is the difference? Well, some like the truth, and that's the difference. That's a whole different story. All right. See what we got. Buy that dip. Yeah, the Basel III, I talked about this before. It seems that the paper and physical markets have decoupled. Premiums, interested in your views. I've talked about this before about Basel III. Basel III is like dry clean only. Why do I say that? It's because when something says dry clean only, you're supposed to take it to the dry cleaner. But people, maybe they just wash it on a cycle, the light cycle in their washer, and then they hang it up after and iron it, and that's it. Okay? A lot of people, they don't worry about the warnings. In just the same way, governments, banks, central banks, whatever it is, they don't have to do anything. Basel III is just a recommendation. That's the way I see it. The paper and the paper markets and the physical has been decoupled a long time. They don't make sense together. What you're seeing generally, like, okay, Bitcoin, or sorry, gold is at 1800. That's great, but that's the paper market. It's the physicals always, seemingly always in short supply. It's always more difficult to get legitimate coins, bars, whatever. It's just something that I've noticed for a while. Not 100K, but 2 million. That is bold. Very bold. Hello to everybody on Instagram. Quality is more important than quantity. We have very loyal subscribers here because they're doing a great job. Thank you for that. Of course, yeah, I'm very happy that we got 248 people in the house right now, and I'm happy that every single person is here. So I'm happy about that. I just want to be the best creator possible. Oh, they do like shorter introduction is common. Okay, maybe a shorter introduction is the way to go. And then you tweak, right? As a creator, you're always trying to tweak and mold it to be better, to not be stagnant. Bitcoin is going to be massive in 5 years. Could hit $1 million, says Kathy Wood herself. Is it going to go to 1 million? Maybe. But I think it's going to have a hard time if interest rates are higher. That's the way I see it. I think it's going to have a hard time. Doesn't mean it can't get there. Doesn't mean it can't get to 100,000. However, with higher interest rates, I believe it will be more of a struggle. I've seen a lot of channels like that. Worthless. Yeah. It's true. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Who is Satoshi? I don't know, but whoever it is, they haven't moved their coins. So they either believe very strongly in it and they haven't touched it, or they're not on this earth anymore. I don't know. Seems unusual. If you start, I personally think if those coins started to be withdrawn and removed, started to move into exchanges and you see them disappearing, I think that would be a big concern. I think so. Not because of how much it is. I think that it will spook the market. That's my thought around it. Susan, as always, thank you very much. She says, late working. Congratulations on 274. 275 is coming soon. Hopefully we'll get to that 275. It seems like forever. Really does, but it's gone. Thank you very much as always for the support. Rashid says, do you think that we will ever see Bitcoin for 20,000? It's so hard to tell. I don't know. I can't make these predictions. Many people have said we could see Bitcoin around that 12,000 range. I've heard that number many times before. But the last time when it was at like 64, 65,000, and then it went down to 30,000, it held steady and firm at 30. It did not go below that. And so that was a sign that maybe that's the new floor. Pretty strong at that level, right? I just think that interest rates are a key indicator to watch as it relates to Bitcoin. I think that is the number one key indicator. If we go into the tightening cycle, like we are globally, but especially with the Fed, I would watch out. Okay? Thank you for support. Just tuning in, your insight on the river barges. Recently, Steve Saylor wrote about illegal drug trafficking, economic boom, Bitcoin affected by drugs. Okay, so your insight on the river barges. Bitcoin, not. Like I said a few moments ago, I don't think that Bitcoin is ever used by anyone doing illicit activities. I think that is like just a super, super small amount. Maybe internationally, but never locally. I think it would be never, zero. And I just don't, I don't see it. It's like, all right, like imagine in a movie, honestly, just imagine in a movie. Instead of like opening the briefcase, they open the briefcase, there's like the hard wallet. He pulls it out and he's like, you got a USB? No? You didn't bring your laptop? Oh. All right. Okay. Let me log into my Coinbase account. Just give me a second here. And the guy logs in. Okay, let me just send it to you now. What's your address? Did you say 225? What was it? Oh, okay. All right, now let's just wait here for the confirmations. Okay. All right. Like it would be so cumbersome to do those transactions. And then at the end of it, how did the money go in and how does it come out of the fiat system? That just does not seem very logical to me. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's possible. I mean, maybe, but I just don't see how that. I mean, like think through it, and I just don't see it. But so I don't give any particular recommendations for altcoins or stocks or anything else. My opinion is that if you stick to the top 10, you're probably going to do better off than if you go for, whatever the hottest thing is today. I would stay away. What I like to do with any investment is always choose the boring ones. The boring ones have less volatility. You could sleep better at night. And in the end, they probably do very well. Like, look, people buy the S&P 500 index. Yet you can be buying this one and that one and this and that, and then usually the S&P 500 is actually outperforming most investors. It's crazy when you think about it, because it's plain, it's simple. Still holding ADA is decent for me, yeah. Any of those coins that give interest rates, I mean, when you stake them, that is attracting people. I mean, it's just like a dividend in a stock, although that's kind of falling out of fashion. Think about it. I'm an investor in this stock. I will not see returns on that, until I'm ready to sell. Okay, when am I going to sell? Okay, well, let's just say I'm 20 now. I bought my first stock. I'm going to sell it at 65. Is that stock going to be around in 45 years from now? Or is it 20 years or whatever that might be for you? And I have to wait that entire period. Oh no, GPS, you can borrow against your stocks, right? Thank you, Michael Saylor. However, Michael Saylor, you don't do this when you have $100,000 or even $500,000. Okay, the rates at which you borrow are too high. You wouldn't do that. It's only guys like Bezos who can get it for less than 1%. Then it's worth it. Unless you've got big accounts, they don't let you borrow like that. Okay, Michael Saylor, I got you. But that's it. That's what I'll say. When Bitcoin is massive adoption, you don't need fiat. I don't know if it's going to get there. I think people will always take the path of least resistance. And as I have pondered, as I've talked to you about, the notion that we are going into a time of likely universal basic income. This universal basic income may be distributed by the Federal Reserve, which would be unusual. But I have a feeling they might go that route. And so the Federal Reserve gives UBI, but they do so through the central bank digital currency. This gives them a way to implement it, have everybody accept it. You're getting free money. Don't you want that $500 a month? Don't you want that $1,000 a month? All you got to do, sign up to the central bank digital currency. It's on your phone. You could tap at every store. It's available. It's there. So they're going to be using the central bank digital currency. It's all good. No problem. They're not going to need that cash anymore. Why do I need those paper bills? And why would I want to spend my Bitcoin? In another note, why would I want to spend my Bitcoin if today it's 60,000 and you're telling me at a time in the future it's going to be 100,000? Why am I spending the Bitcoin? If I thought it was going to be 12,000, okay, then I'll spend it. But if it's going to be 100, it makes no sense. Why would I do that? Makes literally no sense. Is there a battle happening here? What's going on here? They're just reading your comments. Thank you for support. As always, thank you. Thank you. I made 4,500 today alone off of Bitcoin. Awesome. I hope you mean you're trading, you pulled the money out, or are you saying in terms of appreciation? You can't stop BTC. I agree they can't regulate it. It's not possible. Whatever happens in the internet, they can do what China does, although they probably won't. They can do that, but they can't get rid of it. There's always going to be a country that is friendly to cryptocurrencies. Look at some of these islands. You've got some of these islands that are just saying, hey, everybody come on board. We love your cryptocurrencies. All good. Not going to get taxed here. Come, bring your cryptos here. Spend your money here. St. Kitts and Nevis being one of them that I know. But even Austria had something, and I should look it up because I keep forgetting. But they had something like we will not charge capital gains on your crypto, something like that. So they put that into law, if I'm not mistaken. But what I'm looking at in the comment section right here, so I don't know if any of these comments are directed towards me or they're directed towards the people, like they're fighting between each other. But there is a battle. Bitcoin is garbage. Bitcoin is fantastic. It's just back and forth, back and forth. I've been seeing this for years. And usually the battle becomes more intensified as the price of Bitcoin increases. So while there are a lot of people that can predict the price of Bitcoin, I can't. I can't do that. I don't know what it's going to be. But I can certainly say that there's a lot of people that are interested in it. That's for sure. Who's more interested in it are the financial institutions that are creating ETFs, that are creating the futures contracts, that are doing all these derivatives. That is where the big money is at. Okay, because imagine they can accept people's fiat money. They could be holding Bitcoin, consider that an asset, but they could accept people's fiat currency, which is what they want to show their shareholders and say, this is how much of this assets under management we have, and yet they hold on to that Bitcoin. So that I think is where the attraction is. GPS, did you ever consider that the whole crypto digital currency is all about fleecing the common man? Once again, Satoshi equals CIA intelligent operation establishing an economic hit job. I've thought about this. I've never been able to make sense of it. Because anybody right now today can create a cryptocurrency. Anybody can. And if you look, some of these cryptocurrencies that are out there, Shiba and Doge and all these different things, literally multi-billion-dollar investment into them, and they were just created out of nothing. I would say Bitcoin is a different story. I mean, it's been around the longest, of course. Maybe that one you could argue nobody knows who the creator is and all this. I'm not even sure it matters. Like, everything is open. The transactions are right there. The source code is right there. So I don't know. I don't know if it matters. I really don't. But I have thought about it. What do you think the probability of rates going up in the next year? Well, the expectation here is that if inflation continues to rise, we will be seeing an increase in interest rates next year. It looks extremely likely. So if we still see inflation up, they're going to have to do it. How fast and where they'll get to, I don't know. My rough calculations indicate that the federal funds rate at 0.75 to 1% is the ceiling. So they can get away with that. But once it makes it to that level, just under 1%, then they have problems. So I think it's actually more like 0.75%. So anyway, I think that that's the case. We'll see what happens. Inflation can only be stopped with a massive collapse. Okay, so if there's this big collapse and suddenly the demand shrinks considerably, then we can stop inflation because we're going deflation. So if China's starting to spiral out of control, we're going down, the whole world starts to slow down, this is going to bring inflation down, potentially. So they may not need to increase rates. So we have to look at what happens to the economy. There are some banks, I think I might have talked about this. I was definitely reading about it, that consider that we are probably in a recession right now. So I don't know. It depends how you look at the indicators and so on. But anyway, That's my answer. Bitcoin is like gold. You don't spend it; it's a store of value. So, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to spend it. The question is, number one, in the original Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, it was peer-to-peer electronic cash, something like this. I'm butchering the line. Okay, without a financial institution, no third party involved, essentially. So we've gone away from that. Now it's a store of value. So it doesn't matter that the original intention and design of the code is saying this is electronic cash. We don't want the financial institutions involved. And now today, it's a store of value. I don't know if its original design created it that way. Okay, it's deflationary. There's only so many. I get it. But I don't know. This is all philosophical, right? We're just talking. We're having a conversation now, and I appreciate that. David, good name, by the way. Thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate that. If you have a question, pop it over here. I'll answer it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support, everybody here today. If you got a question, let me know. Put it there. I'll respond. Thank you. Cheers to everybody. All right. 3,800 people have come in and out of this room. I want to thank you for being here. We're just talking about Bitcoin, but at the same time, whatever it is that you'd like to discuss, questions, anything. On Instagram, in your opinion, the best investment to hedge against inflation? Historically, that would be gold. Right now, you know what's not too bad? I'm going to tell you. Okay? If you had some land, not even a big land, but if you had some land, and that backyard was just full of food, and you had solar panels on your roof, and you had water harvesting, maybe whatever, geothermal energy, well water, I mean, all these different preparedness things, I think inflation doesn't really affect you the way that it affects the majority of the population. This is my opinion. If someone's going to ask me, a friend of mine, we're going out for a coffee, and they say, I got this money here, what should I do? What should I do? And I'm talking friend to friend. I would say you pay down your mortgage. That might be controversial right now with inflation. You pay down your mortgage. You do what you can. Okay. You get solar panels on the roof. You build a mean backyard that's got everything you need. You secure the house in every possible way you can. And you have some sort of power storage. If you could have battery storage, if you could have a backup generator that runs on diesel or natural gas, some of them run on, whatever that is. So you got this like multi-stage approach, and hopefully your bills are minimized. That's the point of this, that you minimize the bills. So then you take care of your home. You need very minimal income. Suddenly we enter a period in which there's disruption, maybe that you lose your job, your bills are so small that you don't have to worry too much. Hey, I don't have to worry about starving. I've got the bags of rice. I've got a backyard full of food. That's the way I see it. Now, that's not an investor. That's somebody trying to be practical. So that's the way I see it. Okay. 7 shares of Amazon? Yeah, obviously. I mean, if you have 7 shares of Amazon, you're basically Jeff Bezos. So, I mean, there's no other way to put it. Land, they can take it away from you. Bitcoin, no one can take it from you. They can take away your land. They could. They can take away your land. You can also forget your your keys. You can forget things on your Bitcoin, and it's effectively gone. It's lost. So you can lose it too. You can lose that. I mean, there's any argument like that I don't think is a good argument. I mean, you have to secure it. If you have a home, you secure your home the best you can. Thank you. Thank you for the support as always. You know what's interesting? Ever since doing the lives, I feel like I'm learning more about the subscribers, because the comment section normally, and that's why I'm trying to be a little bit more interactive in the videos too, saying, hey, let's talk about this subject. Put it down in the comments below, because I'm trying to create a little bit more of a community than versus here's a video, it posts, the classic YouTuber doesn't reply to any of the comments or like 2 of the comments, or it has a bot replying. Instead of that, I actually want to create some sort of community in what I can do with the lives and all this. So I've appreciated that. Definitely. It's been hard times, up and down, dealing with all the nonsense and things that have come around. Gotten a lot. I think this is probably the most hate I've received just in the past week. People are like, I'm unsubscribing from you, you're garbage, this and that. But what can I do? I just look at the ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down. So when I say give me a thumbs up, it helps. Like literally, I'm looking at that. And generally, it's somewhere between 98% and change to 99% and change. So the vast majority of people are agreeing with what I say or support the channel in some way. So that's what I look at. I'm always trying to keep that in mind. So thank you all. Is the supply chain issues in California been resolved? Not at all. Not at all. There are I think I have, check tomorrow's video, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I have some interesting stuff to show you about that. I think I have a new image that came out of Reuters or Bloomberg I pulled up that it's intense. And in China as well. More hater. Thanks, Heather. More hater means that you're telling the truth. Yeah. The crazy part is it's true. Which just doesn't make sense. I mean, why are people like this? But that's unfortunately the way it is, right? Like, why can't people, they see people that are, I don't know, even like just simple things. Why don't people hold the door open for each other? Why don't people say thank you and you're welcome? Like, these are basic, you didn't have to grow up in, the Queen or whatever to know basic etiquette. It's just human nature. It's just human nature. Tesla? See, I'm just reading your comments here. Thank you for your support. 99% I can't read this. I love 99%, but I would cash out refinance, use the dollars to implement everything except the home pay down. Mortgage at 3%, short fiat with inflation, maybe spread out the cash on solar, H2O, machinery, security, and crypto. Yeah, so that's the controversial part. That's the controversial part. The only thing that I worry about, so you could do that, there's no question. And especially if you're in the US, because you can get your mortgage for the whole term. So you get your 25, 30-year mortgage. You're getting that at that rate. In Canada, it works different. You're going to get it between 3 and 5 years. You pay over the 25, 30 year, but your term for the payments are then renegotiated after the 3 to 5 year term. But the reason I'm saying this is because what I expect is that in the future, we're going to have major disruptions. Something big is going to happen. And so if you've got a lot of debt, so first of all, we don't know if it's inflation or deflation. We don't know that. And it could be first deflation, then inflation, or first inflation, then deflation, like whatever. The point is, if you had bills that added up because you had the food in the backyard, because you had whatever, this and that, you made Instagram cut off. You know, it's going to be nothing of a challenge to you to pay a small fee every month for maybe the electricity, the connection fee, this and that, like small little bits here and there, as opposed to this mortgage, which is this huge chunk every month. If you didn't have a job, if you felt, maybe you fell ill and you couldn't work anymore, they slashed your pension, they slashed Social Security, all these different things. So that's why I say, if you can work hard to get everything down as much as possible and sort of becoming self-sufficient, then you're better off. You'll be so, like, hey, maybe you don't have the 7 shares of Amazon, but you've got your house in order. And I think you'd be more confident about it. That's all I say. But yeah, I know what you're saying. If you could lock that in at a low interest rate, hey, why not, right? You lock it in, and then you use that money on wise things. You don't go out and buy the new whatever the kids are into these days. What could it be? Maybe, I don't know, Lamborghinis or whatever. 30-year at 2.5% is free money. Not when you actually look at how much you're paying, not how much you're actually paying over the course of that term. It's actually quite a bit of money. It might double. And that also assumes that you don't do a refinance at that point. But it's cheap, I'll tell you, if you can lock it in. Appreciate you watching. Yeah, the supply chain very vulnerable. This is a problem, and we are going to feel it this winter. So Janet Yellen is just, my relationship with Janet Yellen is private, so let's just not talk about it, okay? It's just private. Janet, you know, minimize the mortgage down to the lowest, of course, yeah. Agreed. Is this guy pro BTC or no? What could it be? Put it in the comments. Let's do it. Let's do a quick poll right now. Is the Money GPS pro Bitcoin or not pro Bitcoin? Let's put it in the comments. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. What do you guys think? Pro or no? What do you think? Let's see. I'm seeing no. I'm seeing pro, neutral, pro. No, neither. Pro freedom. I'll agree with that. Pro assets. No. GPS pro Bitcoin 100% all in. I think you're a realist and understand the intense vulnerabilities as well as a supporter. Okay. No, pro. Absolutely not a gold guy. Interesting. Pro Kathy. Okay. So Trick question. He knows to diversify. All right. So I'm reading your comments, and it seems to be all over the place for what you think. And the reason is because I don't tell people what I do. I don't tell people what I do. Because I don't want that to sway anything that you are thinking. I don't want you to think, I really agree with this GPS guy. Oh, he buys Bitcoin. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. And then guess what? If Bitcoin goes down, then they got the pitchforks. No. So what I do is I present all the information. What I can tell you is that I am against the central banking activity. But I think you already knew that. I think I made that pretty clear. I don't like the central banks and their activities. But I try to keep it without any bias as possible, as much as I possibly can, when I report on anything. And that's really the thing. I just try to do my best in that respect. And try to not put my 2 cents in, if you will. Although many people have asked, they've asked me, please give your opinion. Please give your opinion. I want your opinion. I've done a little bit more of that here on the lives. I'm a little bit more candid. But still, I still don't want what I do personally to affect what people do. Although I'm sure that if I just went in one, whatever it is, if it's pro gold, if it's pro Bitcoin, if it's pro stocks, real estate, whatever, and I just hammered that and said, buy this, buy this, buy this, I would be targeting that audience, and probably there'd be more views. But I'm not doing that. I'm just here to bring you the information that I think is valuable. Thank you for the support. My guess would be diversify BTC Gold for the GPS. Could it be? Could it be? Could it be? Pro alternative of the dollar? Pro utility? Pro, a lot of pros I'm seeing in here. All right, so let's ask Janet. Janet secretly is telling everybody, oh, Bitcoin is used for illegal activities. Secretly, she's probably buying it up. It'd be very funny if we heard that she has to declare her assets and she declares that she owns Bitcoin. It'd be funny. And the Fed, this dude's got a crypto wallet address on his YouTube. Literally pro crypto, doesn't want to be obvious. Where is it? Do you see it? Pro Pokemon cards, they've gone up like crazy. Pro freedom, 100%. You're pro smart, whatever that might be. Thank you, thank you. Do you really believe the Fed will taper under the current climate? Absolutely. 100%. Something could change, but that's the direction they're going. 100%. I thought it was coming October, but they pushed it out even further to November. And that seems like the most likely scenario. Now, if there's some sort of major collapse that occurs between now and a month from now, that could derail that. But yeah, I do think so. Because now you have the market participants actually asking for it. They're saying, all right, like you can reduce that a little bit. Like take it easy. Don't increase interest rates. But the money printing, you could slow down on that. And actually, you've noticed, if you go back, people are like, no, they're not going to taper. Look at all their different actions. There have been many different things that they've pulled back. So they were doing all those special purpose vehicles. Those are stopped. There's no usage on the corporate bond buyouts. That's not happening. They increased the IEOR rate. I always forget the label there, but basically one of the different rates that they charge it's at 0.05% or something like this. Very small amount, but still they increased it. Different things. So they have been slowly but surely doing all these different things that are, I don't want to say tightening because it's so loose right now, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, it's certainly not as loose as it was previously. Pro crash, which never comes. It would be like everybody should want to see a crash. Like I think I don't know if it was just you're just being silly or whatever, but everybody should want to be seeing the biggest crash possible. That is always a good thing. Always. You can accumulate more assets during these periods. You can, a lot changes. A lot changes if you are astute. But imagine you're watching videos like mine every day. You got a good finger on the pulse for what's happening globally. And I'm sure you're not just watching the Money GPS. You're looking, you're reading, you're doing this and that. So you know what's going on, like probably better than 99% of the people out there. So you're going to be able to take advantage of these instances. The only dip that has happened in the stock market between March 2009 and current and present, there was one dip, and that was March 2020, February into March 2020. One dip. So there has been almost, this huge bull market just gone absolutely crazy throughout the period. And so imagine what it would look like if stocks came down by 70 or 80%, particular stocks. Would that upset you? If you wanted to buy stocks, would you be upset if your stock went down by 80%? No, you would celebrate, or you should. Of course, at that time, it's scary because they're telling you, okay, this company's bankrupt, that company's bankrupt, they're going to lose, you're going to lose, you're going to lose. So for sure, it's not easy to hang on during those periods. What I'm just saying is people, they want to just make it go up forever. And that's not the right mentality. That's somebody who has only invested for the past few years. They haven't been investing for a long time. They have historically let it crash when they are ready so that they can buy for pennies on the dollar. 100% true. They do it when they want to do it. I watch the China news, so I am ahead of all of you guys. The China news. I can just imagine. Everything is great today. Rainbow. We saw a rainbow today. Everything is fantastic. Study. Work hard. Don't ask questions. That's what you want. That's what your channel is all about. But as long as you're out of our positions, then maybe it's not so bad. Why? No, so my channel doesn't talk much about the stock market, although it gets convoluted a bit for some people who don't watch that often. But you should absolutely want to crash. And why? Because during these periods, you cleanse out the rot. You get rid of it. It's an economic detox. Rotten companies should go bankrupt. And if you don't support that, then, well, today, I guess that's just par for the course. You do a good job of trying to be neutral with it. I'll give you that. Thank you. An economic battle, problems happening globally. There's always kind of weird things happening. Like look at China, Taiwan right now. What's going on with Russia, Ukraine, China and India. I mean, there's all these questions, right? I'm sure cyber wars are happening every single day. I'm sure that's happening. But I don't think, I think we would, if something goes real hot, I think it's impossible to ignore. Eric, just talking about Bitcoin, we were just saying, many people don't know, they can't come to a consensus. Some people say it's going to go to the moon. Other people say it's going to go to the ground. And ultimately, we're still left with questions. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows. So I certainly don't. But for people, they should just read up on it. If you're not a Bitcoin person, just read up. Don't read the pro stuff. Don't read the anti stuff. So I've read books by Greenspan, Nouriel Roubini, who else? Just recently I had an audiobook from, I can't even remember his name. Last name was Kelly, I think. Anyway, the point is, people who are very much, like, I disagree with them, ultimately. I still read that. I'm still interested in that. What do you have to say? Tell me. I just want to know. But most people aren't like that. They have a certain idea about something and they're just like, I don't care. I'm not listening to you. You're wrong. You're wrong because I have a lot invested. You're wrong because I have a lot invested. So that's not the way I work personally. I'm just, I have an inquisitive mind. I ask a lot of questions. I want to find out from everybody about everything. I would rather, if there's a conversation happening with 6 people and we're in a circle and I'm talking, I won't say anything. I'll just sit there, I'll watch, and I'll see everything about the conversation. What's happening? What's he saying? Why did he say that? What's happening? What's going on here? What can I learn from this? That sort of thing. That's just the way I am. I'm an observer. Do you think that solar power is a good investment? So what I would say is if you are in one of these areas where you get a lot of sun, then it almost seems like a no-brainer. If you're in an area that doesn't, it might be iffy in terms of financial, like when you get your money back. You got to know for your area. So you got to type your city in, go to YouTube, type in the name of your city and type in solar panels. And you're going to see people reviewing them and they will document how, this is how much I paid. This is, over the last year. People do it usually like over a year, what happened, this and that. And so you can get a sense of how much money they saved on their electricity. And then you make the judgment for yourself. I've seen people that live in areas where there's snow, and the guy said, the Curtis Stone, actually, if anybody knows Curtis Stone, he said that in the wintertime, he didn't even bother shoveling the snow off of his solar panels because it took a lot of effort and the amount of extra sunlight that he was getting was so minimal just because the intensity is so low and the where the sun comes in, the axis or whatever it's called, that basically there, it didn't add up for him. So, but for him, he has a different reason to do it. It's the preparedness, is being ready, and the fact that he was able to write it off. Different story. So, but in general, I like any sort of preparedness. Anything you could do to prepare, thumbs up to that. I'm not a gambler. I am not a gambler. Let me think. I've never spent any money at a casino. Maybe $20? Maybe I spent $20 one time. And I think I went to a Greyhound racing track and put $2 on a on a Greyhound one time. Was it Greyhounds or was it horses? I think it was Greyhound. Yeah. So I'm not a gambler. I want to be more certain. I'd rather invest in a business. I would rather invest in something tangible. That's just the way I am. Okay, I'm going to stay about 5 more minutes, everybody. If you got any questions, let me know. Oh, yeah. Instagram saying solar panels are in the works. I'm in Phoenix. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And actually, so there's a guy named Jake Mace. Jake Mace. And he did a video with Handyman. Handyman. Handeeeman. It was on Handyman's channel. And he shows his back. Actually, if you just look for this guy, Jake Mace, he shows his backyard. If you could find the backyard tour, he lives in and around Phoenix. It was the most incredible thing. He created a microclimate in his backyard. You have to see it. I think you would really like that. It's been so long since I've seen the video, so I can't show you, but look for that. Maybe backyard tour, Jake Mace, something like that. Oh yeah, you've seen him? Okay, good. Again, thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Thanks for what you do. I haven't heard you discuss why the Fed cannot taper, research oversight, reverse overnight reverse repurchase agreements. That's something I cover regularly. I haven't just heard you discuss why the Fed cannot taper. They're doing it. They're already going in that direction, and that's my opinion. I think that they will begin to taper. What happens in the near future, I don't know, but I think they're going to go for it. Other central banks are already ahead of them. So they are way behind in that sense, and I believe that it is more than due at this point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's my opinion. In terms of the repos, they're doing this right now, of course, but you know, this is part of all their mechanisms. They say it. They say that it's working normally. Everything's all good. Everything's great, but I don't know. I really don't know. All right. Do you think that? No, I don't think so. Tether? Is that Tether? I think that something's going on with that Tether currency, and that's going to be revealed. That's going to shake the market. I don't talk about anything that, I guess you're asking me how much of my portfolio is crypto. I don't talk about anything that I have. Binance coin, I've seen it. I've seen it grow in popularity. but I don't have any particular opinions on it. Why don't you talk about Africa in your videos? I don't have any. I do talk about Africa. I think the most interesting thing is how China's development in Africa. Some say it is kind of, like a takeover. That's what some would say. And I think that's one of the most interesting, from my perspective, one of the most interesting things, because there's a lot of infrastructure being built there in many different countries. China is really going for Africa. In some cases, you could say, hey, they're there, they're there to extend their hand and their wallet. Let's make this happen. It's part of their whole, expansion across the whole world for China. They want that. They want good connections. So I don't think necessarily dominance is, the one and only factor, but they do seem to be doing a lot of business there. I'll tell you that. Belt and Road, yep. What inspired me to make this channel? So in 2011, I made the channel. It's been 10 years. Let me think about when that was. September. Hey, it's already been 10 years. Didn't even realize it. It was this September 2011. Happy anniversary to me. All right, so let's see. What inspired me specifically? Okay, so let me tell you, 2010 into 2011, I was writing The Money GPS, my first book, before I started my YouTube channel. And the reason I did that was because I was telling people about the financial system, people that I knew, and they didn't care. They didn't want anything to do with it. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I think this is serious stuff. People should know about this stuff. I want financial education. Financial education is so important. So I'm reading. Every day I'm reading. I'm listening to audiobooks while I walk, while I do this, while I do that. I'm just 24/7 just learning. And then I get to a point, I'm almost finished the book. The book is basically complete. I'm in the stages of like finalizing it. And I'm like, I got to start a YouTube channel. I think this would be good. I can talk about my book a little bit, but I'll make a video here and there. So I wrote the book, gave the book out to a bunch of people. I got overall like good feedback, like, hey, good job, buddy. Pat on the back a little bit. And then I realized, okay, the people that I know, no matter what I say or do, they're not going to listen to me. So I got to get out to the world. And so that's what the YouTube channel brought me. So that's kind of a little bit of how it unfolded. Awesome. Interesting name. Rapid Sewer Data. Is that your company? That's cool. Thank you very much for the support on that. I saw another one come through. Thank you for support. Thank you immensely for the videos. Outstanding on keeping neutral and reserving opinions of the medical event. Yes. Religion, elections, BTC, gold, etc. Not shying away from important topics. Yeah. I try to be neutral. That's what the news should be. The news should be neutral. It shouldn't be biased, although you see today that is incredibly biased. It's ridiculous. But that's just the way it is, right? You see how bad it is, honestly. Like, it's just terrible. But that's the way it is, right? Appreciate you being here. Oh, wow, 1:30. Okay. Let me see if there's any more questions. Yes. Yeah, I've always tried to keep it neutral. And certain things I can't touch. There's other aspects, I can't touch it at all. Channel's just wiped out. I get comments all the time. Oh, you're not giving financial advice. Why aren't you telling me what tickers to purchase? It's like, I can't give financial advice. They're like, well, why not just put a disclaimer then and then just give financial advice? It doesn't work like that. Thank you. News stopped being news when they started calling it media. Yeah, really good observation. He went looking for his tribe. Basically, it's like, hey, these guys are going to listen to me. Somebody out there is. And then I started doing the videos, and it's like, all right, 16 views. Yay. And then it's like, hey, 20 views. Okay. And then I had one that was 200. I was, oh my goodness, 200 people. Wow. And then, you know, slowly but surely, and then I plateaued for like 5 years. Is this all right? All right. Okay. That's done. You were watching a video online and then you thought it was so absurd that you had to make your own video to tell the truth. Basically. Thank you. Keep up the good work. We'll do more videos every day. I have started to think about doing a second video. I'm thinking about it. If I could do a second video, what would be, like, not the same stuff. I was thinking about separating the economic one and the financial, maybe, or maybe like a 1-minute version, or maybe, you know, I'm always thinking. But anyway, for now, it's going to be one video a day for the most part. So occasionally, if I have something important, I'll do a second, but I usually don't. You do give financial advice and we love it. All right. If you consider it that way, enjoy. Like-minded people looking for a tribe. And yes, 100%. I don't know if somebody said religious wise. No. Not in that aspect. All right. There's so many comments here. Suggested reading list. Okay, really quickly, everybody who's still here. You ready? You got your pen and paper? Suggested reading. Let's do this. I used to have a link with an affiliate. I don't even have it anymore. So it's just, but here we go. Okay. The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. Okay. And by the way, this post will be also at Facebook and Twitter after this. Okay. You can always check Facebook and Twitter and just go through the live stream after. The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. Amazing. Infectious Greed by Frank Partnoy. Fantastic book. It's kind of like the Michael Lewis books, but actually more detailed, not so much fluff. If you want a super basic book that I still think about it all the time, Freakonomics and Super Freakonomics, these two. They're not really, like, there's no history in them or whatever, but it taught me about, oops, what did I hit? I think I hit a button. It taught me about incentives and sort of helped me out a lot. Okay. What is another book? Galbraith, the author Galbraith. Okay. Check it out. Galbraith, The Great Crash of 1929. I think that was one that he wrote. I'm going to do a whole video about this, by the way. I have, like I said before, I have all my books in totes, and over the next couple of months, I'm going to have them actually on a bookshelf so I can actually just pull them off the shelf and just show you what I loved. Yeah, Ron Paul. I've read 4 of Ron Paul's books. If you want to go in that direction, Kiyosaki, I've read like 5 of his books probably. Somebody mentioned Jaspreet Singh. Something about an interview. I would do an interview with him for sure. Don't think he would do an interview with me though. Do a daily 5-minute videos regarding the planned reset. I gotta watch what content I do. Remember. Small mini-series on the societal change. You're really good at thinking ahead. Good. I would like you to do an interview with Jaspreet Singh. Yeah, I would. Most of the people reject, like when I've gone out for requesting interviews, there's been just rejections or they don't reply or whatever. But sorry. Okay. Just reading all your book recommendations. Everybody, check these out. I haven't heard of some of these. All right. Just tuning in. We're about to leave. We're just about to leave. I'm actually overtime. I'm an hour and 35 minutes into this. If you want to watch the replay, of course you can. It's available at, this goes unlisted as soon as the video's over, but you can check it out at Twitter and Facebook. It stays there permanently. So did I see a super chat, but I don't know if that was from before. Yeah, it is. It was from, okay. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. Tomorrow night, I'll be back. I will see you here. 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be here. All right, if you haven't seen the video today, definitely check it out. Ireland, I don't have too much to say other than I believe they agreed to this new 15% minimum tax. I don't like that. I think that is not a positive for Ireland. But in general, Ireland has, attractiveness from the corporations. I don't know if that's going to change. So that's all I'll say. Okay, that's it. See you tomorrow night. I'll be here. I'll answer your questions. Usually an hour and a half I'm here for. So that's about it. Thank you all.